So we're here at Pegasus Bridge, and the glider, one of the gliders landed here. I'll take you around and see the rest of them in a minute. One of the gliders landed here with Captain H.R.K. Nielsen, landed here from the Royal Engineers. And as an ex-sapper myself, this is quite poetic being here. I really proud to be a member of the Corps, if I'm honest.
So we're walking up through the museum car park towards the new bridge. So this behind me is the new bridge that was put in the 90s. This isn't the actual bridge that they landed at for Pegasus Bridge. That's over there somewhere, which we're going to go and have a look at later. But you look at the site around here, and obviously in the last 70 years they've planted a lot more trees and things like that. But you look at it and you think, you know, modern soldiers today, they have, or pilots, they have things like night vision goggles, they've got altimeters that are accurate down to a metre or so, they've got GPS, all that sort of stuff. These guys, they climbed into a balsa wood glider, which was essentially balsa wood and canvas, and they flew across from England to here, being towed along by a powered aircraft, released somewhere along the way, on the word of the pilot that they are where they are, and the guys brought in 6 gliders, I think it was, down virtually on top of the position, no night vision goggles, no idea where the ground was. Light discipline would have been very high around here. They wouldn't have had like lights and fires and things like that going, so that the RAF obviously couldn't bomb certain positions. So you think that these guys put down in this thing that is so flimsy, it's incredible really. They put it down and then they jump straight out and they assault a position like this. Obviously not this bridge, like I said, a bridge that's over there, but can you imagine assaulting a position like this out of a glider like that? That's you've got to take your hats off to them. They were brave men, very, very brave men.
And now just as we finish, ship going through the bridge there, which is pretty good. This is the River Orme, which was obviously the target for D-Day, but unbelievable, eh? So here we are today at Arromanches, at the Royal Engineers Memorial there, with some of the Mulberry Bridge behind us. Gun emplacement here, tide's in now. You can just see part of the Mulberry in the water there. There's Arromanches to our front. A couple of our guys there, one engineer, one roomie. And you can just start to see the scale of this harbour that they built. If you've never been here and you're a sapper, that's a great feat of engineering, but if you've never been here and you're anything to do with the forces or British and proud of our forces, you should come here.
impressed really with the whole engineering side of it, how they've done it. You know, if you look out, the harbour wall, parts of it's still there, and it's just the way it's been done. It's just really, really impressive from an engineering side of life, the way they've done it. You know, and the size of the bits that have been put down is just unbelievable. Staggering. Yeah.
Just to think that some of the information we were reading said that this was as big as Dover Harbour, and Dover is one of the busiest ports in the UK, well, for ferry ships anyway. And you think that they just floated this over from the UK, dropped it, and they operated this for the main supply chain from the UK. It's astounding, really. I bet they would have had ships coming straight from America to drop stuff off here and various other places, and just to operate something like this is a feat in itself. Just sort of a testament to the operations that were going on in Britain at the time, and the staggering amount of logistics that it would take to take the Germans and to deal with Europe.
It was time to head home. The next morning we packed up our gear for the last time on this expedition and headed for the port at Weestrom for the ferry home. After 42 days on the road, everyone was feeling elated at having had a fantastic experience, driving 7,500 miles and passing through 15 different countries. We had made some mistakes along the way and hopefully learned from them for future expeditions. Most importantly, we hope those taking part had learned about themselves and how they can move forward, and that despite suffering from PTSD, they can still grow and achieve anything they want to achieve in life. So rather than the illness take control of them, they take control of the illness. So here we are, Normandy. This would have been the view of the Allied forces on the 6th of June 1944, although I think the weather's a bit better today. On the left there is Sword Beach and Weestrom, and to the right like Point de Hoc and Utah Beach, with all the others in between. The German forces there, the sight they must have seen must have scared them shitless, because the Armada was here and the bombardment had started and planes were bombing them before the troops embarked. It's now about 8:30 in the morning, so the attack was fully underway by this time, with lots and lots of casualties up to now. But there you go, that's what we just left, the coastline of Normandy.
Hello, my name's Greg Power. I was in the Royal Engineers. I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2017. And how has it affected my family? Well, my mood swings created a lot of instability within the family. No one really knew whether I was going to be angry or I was going to have a laugh. It's quite stressful. The term working on eggshells was prolific in our house, because I would flip at the slightest thing. Looking back though, it wasn't that one instance, it was a number of things I didn't deal with straight away, and obviously other people paid for it. What have I done to deal with PTSD since diagnosis? Well, in fact, prior to that I was involved with Veterans in Action. I used to pop up to the centre every now and then. I've been in touch with Combat Stress. I'm waiting to hear from them back. With regards to Veterans in Action, I have been away for 6 weeks from the family to, I think essentially reset my buttons to make sure that I'm a better frame of mind when I go back home to my family. PTSD is a selfish disease, but it also takes away from the family the sense of unity. I haven't had a stronger relationship with my son as I would have liked, but that was predominantly down to just trying to push myself away from them and keep them at a distance. I didn't realise at the time that it was post-traumatic stress disorder, so I tried to push people away all the time. Obviously, my behaviour, my attitudes have now been semi-learned by my children. So the way they deal with things is shout first, ask questions later, and it's incredibly hard to deal with that kind of situation that you've created in the first place. With every family, you have a person that takes a dominant role. And when I say dominant, I don't mean that in a bad way, but my wife shouldered pretty much everything because I was incapable of looking after them, their welfare, and she's been a rock. She's been my rock. She centered me even when I pushed her away, did horrible things. She always brought me back. It's not something you can say thank you enough for, but I think it's done through actions now as opposed to words when I get back. Prior to coming away on this expedition, with a week's notice, my wife turned around and said, "You're going." And I said, "No, I'm not going. All you want to do is basically just get rid of me." So when I got up to the office, I semi-dug my heels in, and I'm not going to lie, I really didn't want to go. I didn't want to go because I didn't want to admit a failure within myself. But she's very determined, a little bit, how do I say, more family orientated. She knows what's good for the family, whereas I haven't actually been there to be the leading role. So when it came down to it, and I was signed up for this, it wasn't under duress, but it felt like it at the time. But I'm really glad that that decision was made, and I'm really glad that I made that decision as well. It wasn't a case of I was sulking about it. I made that decision myself to come away because I honestly believe I need to change. I honestly believe that I need to become a better role model for my children and look after my family. When I came out on this 6-week, I want to say adventure, but it was hard work. My whole frame of mind was negative, pessimist. But what I tried to do from, I'd say, the first or second day was, if there was a negative thought, think of a positive, and then work on that. Trying to find a role within the group was, for me, quite hard. Essentially, I'm not a mechanic, so I have no idea about how to fix a vehicle, so that was out. I can put up a tent, I can fold a tent, so I thought, okay, that's me. I can wash dishes, okay, that's me. So I started doing all the, I say, satellite jobs, the things that still need to be done, but trying to take a positive from that was actually quite rewarding, and in fact that I became good at it, like really good at it. As well as that, there were other things I needed to do. My background was being a signaller and obviously having to navigate. Kind of fell in my lap. I felt comfortable doing it, so talking on the net was no problem for me, and planning a route was actually quite fun. Yes, I made mistakes. How I dealt with them, put my hands up, said I made a mistake, and we all got on. There was no grudges held. So in a way, I kind of reverted back to what I used to do in the British Army. Sigma, find my way, GPS, which has been good for me. How did I feel? Well, honestly, I actually felt like I was contributing to a group. Felt part of a team as opposed to a hanger-on. Felt useful. I shouldered that responsibility. I'm guessing I did it quite well. For me, that was a definite personal growth, because it's not something that I would have chosen to do, because I never really liked doing signals in the army. But you do what you know. During the 6 weeks, obviously, a number of things happened. Nearer the start, I tried to not let things get to me. There were a few occasions where my anger flared. What I attempted to do, whether it succeeded or not, is take a step back and think, just for a couple of seconds, just, you know, what else could I have done? How could I have negated that problem in the first place? Was it my fault? Okay, I put my hands up and apologise. I have done that. It's been hard to bite your tongue, I'm not going to lie. When someone does something to you and you want to just let loose, that creates more hostility. For me, that wasn't the way I wanted to go. It actually gave me a chance to look at how other people dealt with situations. I mean, certain people are very calm. Certain people erupt like a volcano and then suddenly it's all quiet again. So to see how they dealt with it and then pick the good parts from that and then adapt those good parts into how I deal with things was quite beneficial to me. As I said, it's hard to be positive and smiley all the time when all you want to do is, dare I say, cry and fight and shout, make sure that you're heard. That part is difficult. I honestly believe I quit myself in the best light, or at least I tried to. How have I dealt with things? I don't think I've changed anything that I have done. Obviously there's ways of doing other things that when I get back I can change. I can adapt what I've learned from these last 6 weeks and put that into family life, which I'm hoping is going to improve our family. So, my next steps, when I get back, obviously, see the family. But as I've been away for 6 weeks, my wife has learned different coping mechanisms to deal with the business, which allows me to now reach out, do other things that I want to do. I plan on staying with VIA, hopefully to become an expedition leader. Find new skills within that group. I mean, maybe it's not SIGs, maybe it's not GPS, maybe it's, I don't know, taking pictures, maybe it is working with vehicles, but finding another way of helping and reaching out to other people. So, I have been asked, have I grown? Yeah, I think I have. I honestly think I have. It's been good. I've allowed the person that I used to be to come to the front. I think I've held my own in a lot of situations. I can be depended on. I can be relied on. I'm not very funny, I get that, but you know, you can always work on that. Just like everything else in life, you just got to keep working on it. Personally, my favourite place would be Bosnia. Just after the accident or incident, we were taken in by a Bosnian family. They didn't know us. We didn't know how to speak to them. Even through an interpreter, it was a little difficult. But genuine kindness of the people that you meet is out there. When you tie them with the same brush, you go with negative thoughts. That's usually where people make a mistake. They think everyone's out to get you, and they're not. I mean, these people were genuinely there to help us. So I found that really endearing. The sights, some of the places that we've seen are stunning. I mean, the mountains, the roads are a little rough in some places, but the views are beautiful. The beaches are nice. I recommend Croatia, 100%. Up and coming, get some tourism around that area. To be honest, it still doesn't compare for me to England. I'm an English boy and I love England. So my future, well, they say it's never written in stone, so you can still write it yourself. I have started a small business, but I've never given it my 100%. Mostly because I didn't have confidence to just go ahead and do it. I was always seeking approval, looking for someone to say, yeah, that's how you do it. What VIA has given me is the tools which I can now use to grow that business, make it a complete success, and end up being a trustee.